guys, Tough Love Tiffany, back from a long break. I do apologize. I've had a lot going on, including getting offered a new job, so it's been very busy. So when we last talked, we were talking about friendships, and I was bringing up how I was probably going to be extending this episode into a few different episodes. And this episode was going to be about what happens when you just can't help but have expectations for friends and they end up not meeting your expectations. So what happens when a friend doesn't meet your expectations? And I'm not talking about little expectations, like they're always late or they are a little bit of a neat freak or a germaphobe, or they really like heavy metal and you do not. Like little, like stupid things that just don't matter. I'm talking about like real things. Like, for instance, what if you have made plans with somebody and you've had these plans in place for, I don't know, a month, and they just cancel on you last minute. So you have an expectation, it's a fair expectation, and they cancel on you. Or what if you have a friend who they're always a flake, and that's fine, but you know, you've been trying to do something because they asked you to hang out, but then they expect you to make the arrangements, and you keep throwing new ideas at them, and they just can't fucking settle on an idea. So what happens when you just have these expectations, and they are fair expectations to have? Hanging out with your friends is a fair expectation. I mean, that's kind of the defining aspect of a friendship, right? That you hang out, you talk regularly. I mean, if you're not going to see them because they're in a different state, that's one thing, but like, if they live in the same state as you, you kind of expect to at least see them once in a while. I feel like that's a fair expectation to have. So what happens when they fail you? Do you confront them? Are you passive aggressive? I don't know what your approach is on things. I tend to be a little more direct, and I think sometimes that rubs people the wrong way, because I played the whole passive aggressive game in high school. It didn't really get me anywhere. So when my friends piss me off, I'm usually going to tell them that they pissed me off. I don't like to just let things go, because if you just let things go, it's going to keep happening. And even if you tell them, it could still happen. I've had plenty of friends where I call them out on their bullshit and they apologize, and then they just repeat the same thing over. So at that point, you have to make a decision of whether this friendship is worth sticking around. And then how do you approach that? Say you have had a short friendship with somebody and it's just not working out. It's just, they're not trying to hang out with you. You know, you're more of acquaintances at this point. That sort of situation, I can write it off to, okay, we were just never going to be friends. That's fine. Just move along. You just stop inviting them. It's not like it's a bad, like, any bad blood in between the two of you. It didn't work out. It's just not a friendship that was meant to work out. And I've had plenty of those. I've had college acquaintances like that. I've had high school acquaintances, work acquaintances where the friendship just died on its own naturally. And there's nothing wrong with a friendship dying. Like, you meet people at certain points in your life for whatever reason, and you fulfill a purpose for each other. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And that's a natural occurrence. Like, I had a friend when I was working at one type of job. I won't go into details. And we were pretty close, I thought, at work. And I got a new job. We tried to stay in touch. It was really difficult. We lived in different areas. We didn't really hang out in the same social circles. And eventually the friendship kind of just petered out and died. And that's okay. That happened. But say you've been friends with somebody for a while. Say you've known them for a couple of years. They've come to a few of your parties. You've gone out. You have a lot in common. And you really want to hang out with them, and it's not working out. In those situations, I would be more inclined to put a little effort in to at least let them know that they're fucking up and that potentially the friendship is going to end. Because I feel like people have a right to know. So if you know the person a while, I think it's best to be more direct with them about the problems that you're seeing with your friendship, that they're not hanging out with you, that this shit's not gonna fly, that you don't want to just let a friendship like that die without at least trying to fix it. But for now, I'm going to leave off where I am, and I want to pick back up on that next week, because next week I want to talk about how to confront a friend about what they're doing wrong, how to possibly end a friendship, and how to deal with the feeling of loss and rejection over a friendship not working, because it's a real issue that people go through. I don't think we ever talk about enough about friendships and friendship breakups, because breaking up with a friend is just as big of a deal as breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend. So next week I want to talk about that, but for now I'm going to leave you guys with what I just told you in mind, and I will see you next week. I hope you have an awesome day, a great week, an awesome weekend, and I'll see you